Good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. Sejal Gamit, Assistant Professor in Pathology. Today, I will be discussing causes and mechanism of cell injury, a topic of general pathology. These are the learning objectives of my lecture. At the end of the lecture, you are able to describe causes of cell injury as well as able to describe mechanism of cell injury, effect of cell injury, and their clinical significance. So let's take a brief look about what is pathology. Logy means study and patho means disease. Pathology is the study of disease. It involves the investigation of causes of disease and the associated changes that occur at the level of cells, tissue and organ, which in turn give rise to presenting signs and symptoms of the patient. These are the terms used in pathology: etiology, pathogenesis and morphology. Etiology is the origin of disease, including the underlying causes and modifying factor. As an example, hypertension and diabetes are the modifiable factors for development of MI, myocardial infarction. Pathogenesis refers to the steps in development of disease, means how myocardial infarction will develop. The process of development of myocardial infarction is explained in pathogenesis. Etiology refers to why a disease arises, while pathogenesis describes how a disease develops. Morphology is gross and microscopic appearance of cells and tissue and biochemical alteration in body fluids such as blood and urine. Pathology is divided into general pathology and systemic pathology. General pathology focuses on the cellular and tissue alteration that is caused by pathologic stimuli. Systemic pathology examines the specialized alteration in the specialized organ, means any specific organ is involved, either heart, kidney or lung. Now we will see the overview of cellular response. Whenever the cells are exposed to stress and noxious stimuli, under the heading of homeostasis, adaptation, cell injury and cell death. What is homeostasis? Is a normal physiological phenomena. Cells are actively participants in their environment, so constantly adjusting their structure and function to accommodate changing demand and extracellular stress. Cells normally maintain this steady state are called homeostasis. Adaptation are reversible functional and structural response to more severe physiological stress and pathological stimuli, during which normal, new, but altered steady state are achieved, allowing the cell to survive and continue to function. Means whenever the cells are exposed to severe physiological stress and pathological stimuli, so, to survive and continue to function as well as to escape from the cell injury, cells achieved a new state that is called as adaptation. The example of adaptive changes are hypertrophy, hyperplasia, atrophy and metaplasia. Cell injury. If the limit of adaptive response are exist or if cells are exposed to injurious agent and stress, a sequence of events follow that is termed as cell injury. And cell death, it is the end result of progressive cell injury. So, this is the cellular response to cell injury. Whenever there is increase in the cell stress, cell can adapt to meet this demand by undergoing hypertrophy and hyperplasia. But if cell cannot adapt to meet the demand, it will lead to cell injury. Cell injury is again of two types, reversible and irreversible. Reversible means if you remove the stimuli, the changes are reversible, and irreversible injury means it will lead to cell death. Which are the causes of cell injury? These are oxygen deprivation, chemical agent, infectious agent, physical agents, immunological reaction, genetic factor, nutritional imbalance and aging. So, first one is the oxygen deprivation. How oxygen deprivation can lead to cell injury? What is hypoxia? Is oxygen deficiency which interfere with the aerobic oxidative respiration and is an extremely important and common cause of cell injury and death. Hypoxia must be distinguished from the ischemia. What is ischemia? Is the loss of blood supply in a tissue either due to the impeded arterial flow or reduced venous drainage. While ischemia is one of the most important causes for hypoxia, other causes for oxygen deficiency are inadequate oxygenation of blood as in pneumonia or from reduction in the oxygen carrying capacity as in anemia or carbon monoxide poisoning. Chemical agents. glucose, salt, and even water, if absorbed or administered in excess amount, can lead to derangement in the osmotic environment of the cell and ultimately lead to cell injury and death. Other toxic agents that are daily included in the environment are air pollutant, insecticides, certain poisons, and drugs. Infectious agents like bacteria, viruses, fungi, and protozoa can also cause cell injury. Immunological reaction. We all know that immune system defends our body against the pathogenic microbes. Immune reaction can also result in the cells and tissue injury. Examples are autoimmune reaction against one's own tissue and allergic reaction against environmental substance in genetically susceptible individual. Genetic factors like certain derangement in the chromosome, even amino acids, and there is certain enzyme deficiency also lead to development of Down syndrome, sickle cell disease, and inborn of metabolism respectively. Nutritional imbalance. Obesity markedly increases the risk for type 2 diabetes. Diet rich in animal fat are strongly associated with the development of atherosclerosis, as well as there is also increases to the vulnerability of certain disease or certain disorder like cancer. Physical agent, trauma, extremes of temperature, radiation, electric shock, and sudden changes in the atmospheric pressure may lead to cell injury. Now we will see about the molecular basis or the mechanism of cell injury. These are the general principle of cell injury. The response of cell injury mainly depend on the type of injury, its duration and severity. If the injurious stimuli are mild, it gives a cells a time to repair, or otherwise it can be called as reversible cell injury. Cellular injury or cell response also depend on the type, state, and adaptability of the cells. As an example, we all know that myocardial fiber are highly susceptible to oxygen deficiency. So if there is no supply of oxygen to the myocardium, it will cause death of the myocyte. While on the opposite side, the skeletal muscle of the periphery can withstand the deficiency of oxygen for a longer duration. And the third one is the functional and biochemical abnormality. So we will see about the functional and biochemical abnormality of cell injury. This chart illustrates the mechanism in brief that include decrease in the ATP, mitochondrial damage, entry of Ca plus 2 inside the cell, production of ROS, that is reactive oxygen species, membrane damage, and protein misfolding and DNA damage. These are all the mechanism, biochemical and functional mechanism of the cell injury. Now let's see one by one. First is the depletion of oxygen. We all know that ATP are the energy store of cells that is required for almost all synthetic and degradative process within the cell, such as membrane transport, protein synthesis, and lipogenesis. The major causes of ATP depletion are reduced supply of oxygen and nutrient, mitochondrial damage, and toxins. So we all know that there are two pathways for ATP production. One is the anaerobic pathway, in which there is oxidative phosphorylation of ADP, adenosine diphosphate, which lead to generation of ATP. And another is the anaerobic pathway, in which there is production of the ATP by the hydrolysis of glycogen. So whenever there is ischemia, reduced blood supply, it will decreases oxidative phosphorylation, which decreases the ATP synthesis. Now what are the causes of this ATP synthesis? There is a decrease in the activity of sodium potassium pump, so it will lead to more influx of Na plus together with the H2O and Ca plus 2 inside the cell, while there is increased efflux of K plus outside the cell, which causes cellular swelling. Whenever the ATP production is decreases by the aerobic pathway, there is production of ATP by the anaerobic pathway. What occur in the anaerobic pathway? There is utilization of the glycogen for glycolysis. So there is decrease in the glycogen, which ultimately lead to increased lactic acid, and this increases lactic acid will causes decrease in the pH, which lead to clumping of the nuclear chromatin. Decrease in the ATP lead to detachment of the ribosome, so ultimately decreases protein synthesis. Second is the mitochondrial damage and dysfunction. Whenever there is decreased oxygen supply, toxic or radiation, there are two type of changes that occur in the mitochondria. First one, there is increase in the mitochondria, there is formation of channel in the mitochondria, that is termed as mitochondrial transition pore, through which H plus is excreted outside the cell, so it decreases the membrane potential, so ATP production is decreases. And another, there is also leakage of certain type of enzyme outside of the mitochondria, that is cytochrome C, which lead to apoptosis. So decrease in the ATP generation as well as increased production of ROS, which lead to necrosis, while leakage of certain enzyme outside the mitochondria like cytochrome C lead to apoptosis. Third one is the influx of calcium. Whenever there is cell injury, there is influx of Ca plus 2 inside the cell, as well as Ca plus 2 that is stored in the mitochondria and endoplasmic reticulum, which also leaked out. So this increased cytosolic Ca plus 2 will activate certain enzyme like ATPase, which decreases ATP, phospholipase, decrease phospholipids, protease, causes disruption of membrane and cytoskeletal protein. Both these phospholipase and protease will cause membrane damage, and endonuclease, which causes nuclear chromatin damage. Fourth one is the free radical formation. We all know that free radicals. What are the free radicals? That have the unpaired electron in their outer orbit. What is ROS? That is a form of free radical that is produced normally in the mitochondria during respiration, but there are removed by the our body defense mechanism. And the another term is oxidative stress. What is oxidative stress? When the production of ROS is increased, it is termed as oxidative stress, which ultimately lead to cell injury. So whenever there is exposure of the mitochondria to inflammation, radiation, chemical, it will causes incomplete reduction of O2. This incomplete reduction of O2 will lead to generation of superoxide. There is one enzyme, that is superoxide dismutase, which converts superoxide into H2O2, and through phantom reaction there is formation of hydroxyl radical. So this superoxide and hydroxyl radical as well as hydrogen peroxide are the reactive oxygen species. But there are certain antioxidant that is present in our body will remove these free radicals, such as superoxide dismutase will convert superoxide into H2O2, glutathione peroxidase which convert hydroxyl radical into H2O and O2, and catalase that will convert H2O2 into H2 and O2. So this is how these free radicals are removed. But whenever this defense mechanism are impaired, it will the reactive oxygen species react with the fatty acid and ultimately causes disruption of the plasma membrane, react with the protein, lead to abnormal folding of the protein and oxidation of the DNA, and causes mutation and break of the DNA. Fifth one is the defect in mitochondrial permeability. We have already seen whenever there is increase in the cytoplasmic Ca plus 2, it will activate certain enzyme, that is phospholipase and protease. This phospholipase activation will lead to increased phospholipid degradation and protease increased phospholipid degradation, which causes lipid breakdown product. And the protease activation lead to cytoskeletal damage, and ultimately this both activation of phospholipase and protease will lead to membrane damage. And on the another pathway, there is decreased synthesis of phospholipid as well as generation of the ROS, which causes lipid peroxidation and ultimately membrane damage. And the sixth one is the damage to the DNA and proteins. Accumulation of damaged DNA and misfolded protein triggers apoptosis, a pathway of cell death. So this all explain the mechanism of cell injury. Now we will see certain clinico-pathological examination of this cell injury and necrosis. The example are ischemic and hypoxic injury, ischemic reperfusion injury and chemical injury. So first we will see about what is ischemic and hypoxic injury. We all know that ischemia. What is ischemia? Is a diminished blood flow to a tissue. So what is the difference between the ischemic and hypoxic injury? We all know that in the hypoxia, there is generation of ATP is continued by the pathway of anaerobic respiration. While what occur in the ischemia, there is reduced supply of oxygen to the tissue. So both aerobic and anaerobic pathway are compromised in ischemia. So ischemia will causes more severe cell injury than the hypoxia. Now we will see ischemic reperfusion injury. What is ischemic perfusion injury? If the cells are reversibly injured, the restoration of blood flow can result in cell recovery. However, under certain circumstances, the restoration of blood flow to ischemic but viable tissue result paradoxically in the death of the cells that are not otherwise irreversibly injured. Means if you these important process that may contribute significance to the tissue damage in myocardial and cerebral ischemia. So, what do you mean by ischemic reperfusion injury? If there is a persistent long hypoxia or ischemia for a longer duration, and if you restore blood to that part of the ischemic tissue, it will ultimately causes injury. Now, how it will causes cell injury, how refusion or how the restoration of blood supply will causes cell injury? There are three pathways. That is, one is the Ca+2, another is the free radical production, and the third one is the inflammatory reaction. So, first one, there is increase influx of Ca+2. Whenever you restore the blood to the tissue, the ischemic there is increase in the Ca+2 inside the cell, which causes membrane damage, and another is the production of reactive species. So how the reactive species are formed? When you supply oxygen to the affected part, what it will cause is there is impairment in the function of mitochondria in the ischemic part. Okay, so whenever you supply the oxygen to that part of the tissue, it will causes impaired reduction of the oxygen, which ultimately lead to formation of reactive oxygen species. And the third one is the third one is the inflammatory reaction, that is inflammatory reaction by the neutrophils and other inflammatory infiltrate. Another one is the activation of certain complement system in the ischemic reperfusion injury. Complement protein may bind in the injured tissue or to the antibody that are deposited in the tissue, and subsequent complement activation generates byproduct that exacerbate the cellular injury and inflammation. Now we will see how the chemical or toxins may lead to cell injury. Certain chemical can directly act by combining with the critical membrane molecular component or cellular organelles, such as mercury chloride poisoning. So what occur in the mercury chloride poisoning? Mercury will directly bind to the sulfidyl group of the membrane, and it will increases the membrane permeability. Okay, so it will directly cause toxicity or directly cause membrane damage, while many other chemicals are not intrinsically biologically active but must be converted to reactive toxic metabolite, which then act on the target cell. One example is CCl4. The effect of CCl4 is still instructive as an example of chemical injury. CCl4 is converted to the toxic free radical CCl3 principally in the liver, and this free radical is the cause of cell injury mainly by membrane phospholipid peroxidation. So these are the references of my today's lecture. Thank you.